I don't know. Have you got your recorder available?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, I need you to contact Sue's son, or if Sue calls you, give her Wiley Drake's number, which is 714-865-8132, and or if you can call Jonathan, which is Sue's son, also as a just another option. His number is 25, and tell him to tell Sue to contact Wiley and tell Wiley about our being railroaded and trying to help the Native Americans become independent, self-sufficient, and self-governing. And that tell her that Mr. Drake was a VP candidate with Alan Keyes in 2012.
I'm going to run up to
a preacher, and that he has many contacts in Washington that might be able to help with getting someone with the State Department to recognize my appointment as an ambassador in the Chilcote Nation, which would obviously help us getting all these matters dismissed all the way around. Number two, does Sue have Mary's phone number, do you know?
Mary Lou's? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, Mary Lou's number, please give that to Sue in case she doesn't have it, because she might be able to communicate with Sue, and Mary might be able to help with some other, because Mary does apparently I've learned she does a lot of research. She's got a whole bunch of contacts that are also doing the same type of research, and because she was tied in with this Michael Howard Reed, very similar situation, she's got some contacts in the Native American community that might be able to help. Also, if you speak to Sue, have her, and when you talk to Pat, have Pat mail their affidavits to you, and then if you can, send them to me, because they've got a prohibition against me receiving inmate-to-inmate mail, and this way it won't be coming from them, and I would be able to get it. But I need both of their affidavits. Also, Deborah in Tennessee, one that got several of our animals, her number is 73. The lady that I understand that she said was supposed to have been watching out for some of the wolf hounds that weren't picked up yet by the people in Colorado. The lady's name is Felicia, and Felicia was basically agreed to take care of the animals. And not sure what happened, but tell her that you're friends with Mike and Pat, and that you heard that animal control was out there when she was out there on Friday, and wanting to find out, what happened, and who called the animal control, and why were they out there, and what did they do, and what did they do to our animals, and where are they at, and how many did they get, basically what happened. And if you have the ability to pull up the FCI Aliceville facility where Pat's at, if you can send me any information regarding like their policy manual or visitation or just whatever general information they've got about that facility. I know that they've got two facilities there. One is, I believe, a medium security, and the other is a camp. So they've probably got two different manuals, one for each one, and more than likely, Pat will probably get transferred to the camp as a low security risk, I'm sure, fairly soon. So if I had both of them, then I'd know what to expect as far as, mail and people to go visit her and stuff like that. And did you ever happen to call Stanley Stump?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I didn't know if Rudy was going to call him. I was needing Stanley's address. Stanley is the hereditary grand chief that appointed me as the ambassador of the Chilcote Nation. I need to get a good address for him to send it to, so I can try to set up the audio-video conference at the trial, but I've got to have a good address to send it to him. Otherwise, they won't accept it there in the court. If y'all can call him, his wife will probably answer. Her name is Fanny. May have to call a couple of times and leave messages. If you just say that you're calling for Mike, you're a friend of Mike from Pat's, they'll probably pick up, but they do screen their calls because they, have people calling all the time. But Also, if you can, ask Mary to contact the United States District Court in Memphis and ask the clerk there if the jury refused to indict Pat. If there was ever an attempt to indict Pat, and if the jury refused to indict her. I'm curious. Mary said that she's tried to find any information on Pacer about Pat's case. She said there's nothing there at all, which is odd. Also, if you can, ask Mary to contact Brandon Samples. He's a lawyer that does a lot of these 18 U.S.C. 2255. Basically, it's like a habeas corpus where you expose to the court that they didn't have jurisdiction to make a ruling in the first place. And if you have the ability to forward him or tell him how to go to your site to review the petition that I created for Pat that she was supposed to have filed on the 19th, you might be able to see enough information there to warrant his getting involved. I don't know what the guy charges or if he does any pro bono work or anything for ministry, but tell him that I'm a Native American minister and that anything that he does on our behalf would be tax deductible if that's of any. Other than that, I've got a friend in Memphis named Chip, and if you can ask him to go by and check the house and see if the gate is locked or if it's wide open or what's going on there, because I don't trust these Tipton County government backwoods mafia people, and there's no telling what they did. That's all I've got. Have y'all got anything for me?
No, I got it all recorded.
Okay. Anything I need to know?
Nope, but I'm really glad that you've got in touch with Mel because I think you guys speak the same language that we don't.
Well, she's got a lot of contacts with the Native American community.
Right.
Anyway, I have to look at all different options. I know that you never discount the fact that there are people out there that have contacts in the world that you wouldn't think they might have.
Right, I know.
There could be somebody that's actually, a Twitter buddy of Trump's.
Yeah.
Somebody at the State Department that, they communicate with, and all it would take is for them to get the message to the right person, and the right person say, yeah, this is ridiculous, and do whatever is required to get the recognition of the Chilcote Nation. I mean, realize there are literally thousands of ambassadors and various people in consulates around the United States, literally thousands of them. They're all over the United States, and you don't have the president approve each one of those. You've got a bureaucrat sitting there in a desk, an office where they get these people, their credentials are verified and they're accredited, and that's it. And then they're in the system, and that's all it is too. It's not that big a deal. I mean, there's been all these different countries in the last 5 years that are new countries over in the Baltic states that the United States is recognizing, and they've got ambassadors here. So it's probably just a matter of getting to the right person, and that's what it will take. Otherwise, I'm looking at going to trial. With the day before, Easter is the last day, that Friday, and I'm looking at the fact that in Lincoln, Nebraska, they've got a rally scheduled for the previous Saturday, an anti-gun rally. So just before my trial, where I'm charged with unlawful possession of a gun, they got a gun rally, anti-gun. So all the people in Lincoln, Nebraska that are anti-gun, they're going to be there, and they're going to be primed and ready to go. And more than likely, you might end up with some of those on the jury. And are they going to tell me they're anti-gun?
Very convenient.
Right. I mean, it's like propaganda 101. I'm reading the newspaper today, and they're talking about this rally, huge rally. They're anticipating thousands of people, and they got people talking about, they're turning in their AR-15s to the police department to be destroyed. It's like, the guy that did the shooting, it wouldn't have mattered what kind of gun it was. The guy was on some kind of drugs.
They all are. All of them.
Key. Right. That is the key, except for Adam Lanza. Adam Lanza was dead the day before the event. the autopsy for him showed he was dead the day before. It shows the window of the school not kicked in or not shot in. The officer standing there when he first got there. The whole thing was a staged event.
I know.
I believe Sandy Hook was a staged event.
I know.
Just to try to. But these other shootings, like the one out, with the bump stocks. Now they had. I listened to Alex Jones's show and other shows where they played the audio that was recorded, and people that were very familiar with bump stock says they're going to go. But there's all kinds of skips where a fully automatic machine gun will smoothly go. Brrr, brrr, it's very smooth running, and there's a total difference in what you heard on those audio recordings. Yeah. What I heard, at least, was fully automatic machine guns. So I'm thinking the guy was just a patsy. He was already dead.
Yeah.
And then they had the helicopter that they spotted. It was between the buildings that people were, leaving out of. And that helicopter had a transponder out of the Southwest Airlines 737. So Flight Tracker 24 shows that you had a Southwest Airlines 737 sitting there hovering between the Mandalay Bay buildings at that same exact moment, and people said, no, there was a friggin' helicopter sitting there, and people were going up and down a ladder getting in the helicopter.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, Mike. I know that the only thing they want from all this is they want to take our guns. I understand that. I understand.
The only way to take over a country and assassinate
I know.
Everybody, that's it.
They're not getting mine. I don't care what they say, and I don't care what they do. They're not getting mine.
Look, go to, I think it's Luke 22:55, and he said, early on I sent you out without purse or script, and did you need anything? No, master, nothing. He says, now I tell you, if you have one, take it, the purse and your script, which is your money and your passport. Translation does. And he says, if you don't have one, sell your robe and buy an AR-15. Well,
yeah.
He didn't say an AR-15, he said a sword. The modern-day equivalent of a Roman sword would be the AR-15.
I understand that, Mike. I understand that.
So all these people that claim that, being able to defend yourself is somehow a bad thing, they're discounting the fact that over 250 million people didn't go out and shoot anybody today, and they all got guns.
Mm.
What's the difference? They weren't on drugs.
I understand. You're preaching to the choir, Mike. The best thing to do is to talk to Mel because she speaks the same language and she has all the contacts.
Okay. Well, I'm down to my last call. That's why I was calling y'all. Because I knew you had a report or something y'all could...
Okay, we pray for you, Mike. We really do. I was really upset listening to what you had to say about that witch closing the blinds yesterday. It's disgusting and it makes me upset.
I was listening to my audio recording today, and she was in there, and I don't even look at her, don't talk to her, and I'm sitting there, she said, okay, that's enough, Mr. Parsons. You've had your eyes closed for the last minute, so you're not even listening. I said, ma'am.
Oh, there she goes. She hung up on him again. Great. Anyway, you got all the action items. We're a bit overwhelmed here. If there's any action items that Mike spoke about that you want to take on, please do so.